Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Advaita Gadadhara Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Jaya Radha Vallabha Sri Radhe Jaya Jaya Radha Vallabha Sri Radhe Jaya Jaya Radha Madhava Sri Radhe Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Prabhupada Stotra Sri Śrīmad Bhāgavatam Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Jaya Om Niti Lila Pravishta Vishnupad Paramahamsa Prabhupada Stotra Sri Śrīmad Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur ki प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की श्री वृंदावन धाम की श्री नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की गंगा मई यमुना मई की भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की श्री श्री गौरनीताय की श्री श्री राधा वल्लभ की श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रमयी की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे श्री ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयन्मुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवतेरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकीम्। We continue our reading from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 21, chapter entitled The Movements of the Sun. Text number 16. We'll do a 16, 17, 18, and 19. So we'll finish the chapter today. So again, these verses are in a Gadya form. I'll just read it once and then we'll go forward. Purastad savitur aruna paschat cha niyuktaha suyate karmani kilaste. Word for word. Purastad, in front. Savitu, of the sun god. Arunaha, the demigod named Aruna. Paschat, looking backward. Cha, and. Niyukta, engaged. Sote, of the chariot, of the charioteer. Karmani, in the work. Kila, certainly. Aste, remains. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Although Arunadeva sits in front of the sun god and is engaged in driving the chariot and controlling the horses, he looks backward towards the sun. Very extraordinary. Translation responsibly. Although Agni Dev sits in front of the sun god and engaged in driving the chariot and controlling the horses, he looks backward towards the sun god. Purport. In the Vayu Purana, the position of the horses is described. Saptasva rupa chandamsi bahante bamato ravim chakra pakshe nivadhyandhani chakre vakshata samatitaha. Although Sir Arundev is in the front of the seat, controlling the horses, he looks backward the sun god from his left side. So we'll just move on to text number 17. Tatha balakilya risayo angustha parva matra sasti sahasrani puratah suryam shukta vakaya niyuktaha samstuvanti. Translation. There are 60,000 saintly persons named Balakilyas, each the size of the size of the thumb, who are located in front of the sun god and who offer him eloquent prayers of glorification. Text 18. Tathanyecha risayo gandharva apsaroso naga gramanyo ya tudhan deva iti ekaiskasho ganah sapta chaturdasah masi bhagavatam suryam atmanam nana namanam pritham nana namanah prakrita karmabhir devan dvase upasate. Translation. Similarly, 14 other saints, Gandharvas, Apsaras, Nagas, Yakshas, Rakshasas and demigods, who are divided into groups of 2, assume different names every month and continuously perform different ritualistic ceremonies to worship the Supreme Lord as the most powerful demigod Suryadeva, who holds many names. Purport. In the Vayu Purana it is said, probably I'll just skip the slokas, I'll just go into a translation. Worshipping the most powerful demigod Surya, the Gandharvas sing in front of him. The Apsaras dance before the chariot. The Nisacharas follow the chariot. And Pannagas decorate the chariots. The Yakshas guard the chariot. And the saint called Balakilyas surround the sun god and offer prayers. The 7 groups of 14 associates arrange the proper times for regular snow, heat, rain throughout the universe. Text 19. Lakshottaram Sraddha Navalkoti Yojanam Parimandalam Bhu Balayasya Kshanena Swagatyuti uttaram dvisahasra yojanani sa bhungte. Translation: My dear king, in this orbit through the Bhumandala, the sun god traversed the distance of 95,100,000 yojanas, which is 760,800,000 miles, at a speed of 2,000 yojanas and 2 krosas, or 16,004 miles in a moment. Wow. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 5th canto, 21st chapter of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, entitled The Movements of the Sun. Om Jnanatimirantasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitan Mena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadate Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakham Vitamsha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam Karuti Vachalam Kampangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Sri Gurum Dinatarinam. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishaya Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane. Hare Krishna. Wow. Very technical and very fascinating subject matter, huh? Wow. So in this whole chapter we've been hearing different speakers speak on the glories of Sun God. Sun God plays a very vital role in this creation, isn't it? So as Lord Krishna in the 10th chapter, what does he say? Amongst the Adityas, amongst the Adityas, I am Vishnu. Among the lights, I am Ravi. Yes. Adityanam aham Vishnur. Jyotisam Ravir Amsuman. So Krishna says so amongst the light, he is the sun. Yes. And we also know from Brahma Samhita, Krishna says, and Lord Brahma declares that the sun god is like compared to eyes of the Lord. That's represented by the vision. Very nicely explained by Yamuna Lila yesterday. Yachak Suresha Sabita Sakala Grahanam. Raja Samasta Sura Murti Asesa Teja. He is the Raja. What's Raja? King of Samasta Sura. Sura is the demigods. He is the king. He's also a very high position, of course. So, So Asesa Teja, the Asesa means unlimited. Teja means the light or the energy that's coming from sun god. However, Brahma says, Yasya Agyaya. Agya means in order, following the order of Govinda. Brahmati Samvrita Kala Chakro. Means the sun goes every day, it rises and every day sets. Has ever been a day that sun didn't appear? No. It rises on time and goes around. So, how is he doing? With the order of Govinda. That is sun god. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Vajami. So, so in this chapter we've been hearing the movements of the sun. So far we heard that in the text 1, in this chapter, the text chapter 21, Sukadeva Goswami gives the whole dimension of the universe. What's the dimension of the universe? 4 billion miles. What's the size of the universe? According to Bhagavatam, it is 4 billion miles. Or in yojana, 1 yojana is equal to 8 miles. So in yojana is 500 million yojana. Then we also, I'm just giving a little, just quick summary of what we have learned so far from the in this chapter. So where does sun? What is the orbit of the sun? Where is it moving? Top of the mountain in the Pushkara Dweep. There is a mountain called Manasottara mountain. So that is his like orbiting, but he's not sitting on the mountain, but that's the orbiting around the mountain, not directly. Even though it says that the wheel is on, one of the wheel is on top of the Manasottara mountain. His traveling is between the earth, Bhumandala, and the Antariksha. That is his like a vicinity where he is physically present. Text 2 explains. And sunlight heats, emanates heat and light. Right? Simple. And it travels through the different zodiac signs. There's what, 12 zodiac signs, is it? Yeah. Rasis. Let's go now. And what is the distance? Sukadeva, this is text 7. I'm just going to read the text. It says, "My dear king, as stated before, the learned say that the sun travels over all sides of Manasottara mountain in circles whose length is," this is the length of Manasottara mountain, 95,100,000 yojana. One of the, as we understand, one of the reason why Sukadeva Goswami is explaining all this to make us understand how insignificant we are and how great or the vastness of this creation is. Huh? Just see that even the dimensions, the size is like in our little tiny, calculation and logic, and it's like, my God, it's 95,100,000 yojana, which is about 760,800,000 miles. That's the size. On the Manasottara mountain, dew east of the mountain, east of Mount Sumeru, which is in the top of the Jambudvip, is place called Devadhani. The place, Devadhani, the place known as Devadhani, possessed by Lord Indra. Similarly, in the south, there is a place known as Samyani, possessed by the Yamaraj. In the west, the place is known as Nimlochani, possessed by Varuna, and the north place is the Vibhavari, possessed by this moon god. So in the Jambudvip, there is a Mount Sumeru. On top of the Mount Sumeru, there are 4 residents of different demigods. It's like you can call it a holiday home, or they spend time there. The sun goes around. So when sun travel from east, which is the Devadhani, the residence of Indra, to west, which is Samyani, it travels 23,775,000 yojana. And that is travel of in hour of 6 hours. So here we heard all this description, the vastness, the greatness of the sun god is moving on. Text 15 says, "My dear king, the carriage of the sun god chariot is estimated to be 3,600,000 yojana." Wow, that's big. It's huge. So we come to today's verse. Now, its further description is given. Sun god is not alone in his chariot. Yes. So who's accompanying? Who's accompanying sun god? As from today's verse. Sages, yes. Yeah. Aruna, yes. Apsaras, Gandharvas, Rishis, different demigods. So, Aruna Dev is chariot driver of sun god. What's his color? Aruna means reddish orangish. Every morning when you see when the sun rises in the east, you see sunrise, right? So the color you see in the horizon, of eastern horizon, that is Aruna. That is the first, when it comes out in the east, the sun, that is Aruna. The power of the color of the Aruna is being actually displayed first. That's Aruna Dev. And as for today's verse, actually he's not facing forward, he's facing sun god. Wow. Imagine you're sitting, like you're actually facing backwards, and then the horse is moving forward, and that's the description is given. But must be some reason, but I couldn't find the exact reason. So who's Arun Dev? Actually, there is also history of his birth. He's got a family. He's got kids. It's not that you're given this place. I mean, there's that you don't have the rest of the life. And as we assume, okay, he's just 24 hours 7. He's driving a chariot, but he's actually has got his. So the Arun Dev is the son of Kashyapa and Vinata, who was the wife of Kashyapa, one of the wife. Yeah. And he's also got a brother, as Yamalila Master said. Do you know who the brother is? Arun Dev's brother? Garuda. Garuda is also brother. See, in the beginning of the creation, the Kashyapa has given a responsibility of procreating different species. Because they are the Prajapatis. Now they have to create different species. So, the responsibility of creating reptiles is given to Kadru, one of the wife of Kashyapa. So Kashyapa is Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma's son is Marichi. Marichi's son is Kashyapa. He marries many daughters of Daksha, Prajapati. So one of the wife is Kadru, who's in charge of procreating or expanding the reptile species. Vinita is in charge of producing or creating bird species. So it's I just found a little story how Arundev was born. That Kadru already had a kids, and she also wanted to have a kids. Vinata is the wife. She requested Kashyap Dev to please give me a children also. He said, okay. So then, in due course of time, she had 2 eggs, because now she's in charge of producing bird species. So she gave 2 eggs. So for these eggs didn't hatch it for over 500 years. That was a bit long time. Yes. Sorry? Yes. Egg came first, or chicken came first. Yeah. Anyway, so then, in frustration, she wanted to see them, because she her co-wife Kadru already had kids, and she wanted to have. She was desperate. In frustration, she actually broke one of the egg, which happened to be Aruna. And this is in Ramayana, this Valmiki Ramayana, this story. It's mentioned there. So then, Aruna came out, but he was upset because he was not fully matured in the egg. He came out actually immature. And in fact, he even reproached his mother and said, "Why did you break?" And it is said that actually he cursed her mother, that you didn't let it mature, you became too impatient. And then he cursed and said, okay, you'll be subjugated to your co-wife or your mother. You'll have to become a servant. But he also gave a solution. He said, the second egg, which is the child is going to come out from second egg, will actually rescue or deliver you from that curse. So don't break the second one. Leave it as it is, and then with due course of time will come out. But that child who's going to come out is going to rescue you from, deliver you from that servitorship of your co-wife. So like that. Then Arundev left. And then the second egg is Garuda. Yeah. And there is even in the first canto I found there is when Vidura is asking Uddhava, when he met he asks, how are the 5 Pandavas are? In that reference, Vidura asks, he gives the example of Garuda snatching Amrit from Indra. Yes? But that is like that example. In that instance, the how Vidura is saying how the Nakula and Sahadeva were protected by other brothers Similar to giving comparison that the Garuda snatching a Amrit. But so what happens is the Garuda in the meantime, the Kadru and Vinata had a kind of, what do you call it, challenge. They challenged each other. And then they said, what is the color of the horse of Indra? The horse of the Uchaisrava is the horse of Indra. Right? What's the color? It's white. However, Kadru wanted to prove. So Vinita gave answer, the horse is white. But just to challenge as a co-wife, challenge her and said, no, horse is white, however, tail is black. Right? So then they had to. So meanwhile, what Kadru did was she ordered one of the son as a snake, said, go and make that tail black. Right? So then the snake actually goes and then makes the tail white. And when both of these sisters, the co-wives, actually they are sisters. They are Daksha's daughters. And they are co-wives as well. So then they got there. So now what do they find? So the condition was, if the condition of the horse is not completely white, then the Vinita has to be a servant of Kadru. Right? So then, when they got there, they see a horse is black tail, has a black tail. That's been proven true. So then the Vinita had to be a slave of Kadru. And so what happens is that how do we get So Garuda had to bring a nectar which is protected by Indras and different demigods, so she can be free from that curse or from that slavery ship. And then when Garuda comes out, he had to go and get the Amrit from the Indra. And he was so powerful that he was able to bring that and gave it to his mother. Then she was freed from that curse. So that's how the Garuda frees his mother Vinita from the curse. So Garuda, Varun Dev is the brother of Garuda, and he also has his wife is called Shaini, spells Syeni. Varun Dev's wife is Shaini, and they have two sons. Do you know anybody who's the sons of Varun Dev? Jatayu and Sampati. Yes, rings a bell from my mind. Jatayu and Sampati are also sons of Varun Dev. Yeah, I just found out. Yes. So Jatayu is the one who protected, who tried to save Sita when Ravana wanted to take. And then Sampati. So in the young, when they were these two birds, the son of Varun Dev, Jatayu and Sampati, they were competing how high they can go. And they got up to very close to the sun. Then Sampati actually had to save his brother Jatayu from the heat. That's how he got burnt, his wings and everything, so he couldn't fly anymore. He was sitting, he plays the role of finding or directing the monkeys when they were searching for Sita at one place. And he was the one who actually gave the direction and said, I saw Sita being taken to Sri Lanka. So that's the Sampati. And he was a brother of Jatayu. they were sons of Varun Dev. So that's how they... I was just discussing about the Varun Dev from today's verse, yes. And another personality we find in this description is Valakilyas. Yes? How many years? 60,000 of them. And they are, how the size they describe is half the size of the thumbs. But what is their role? Is to glorify sun god while sun god is in motion. Wow. These Valakilyas actually also they are the children of one of the Saptarishis, Kadru. No, sorry, Kratu. I'm sorry. Kratus, and they were and Kriya. It says. Very special personalities. They have given this role to glorify the sun, because sun is representative of Supreme Personality Godhead, and so they accompany Surya Dev while Surya Dev is in motion, and their glorification is the glorified sun god. Now, very interesting information. It is in the same context, in the 12th canto of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, same questions, similar questions, more in details asked by Sonaka Rishi to Sukadeva Goswami, Sutta Goswami. In the same context, the Valakilyas, the Apsaras, the demigods, who are they? What do they do? And what is their role? So, in the 12th canto, 11th chapter, from text 27 to 49, this whole description is given in the same context as today's context, today's verse. I'll just quickly read through a few verses, just a translation. So this is the text number 27 from the 12th canto, chapter 11. Sonaka Rishi said, "Please describe to us who have great faith in your words, the different sets of 7 personal features and associates the sun god exhibits during each month, along with their names and activities. The associates of the sun god who serve their Lord are personal expansion of the Supreme Personality Godhead Hare in his feature as presiding deity of the sun." So, the sun god is presiding deity or expansion of Lord Krishna. Sutta Goswami said, "The sun travels along all the planets and thus regulates their movements. It has been created by Lord Vishnu, the super soul of all embodied beings, through his beginningless material energy." Now further. The Supreme Personality Godhead manifested his potency of time as sun god. What Brahmaji says, Kala Chakra. So, sun is the personality that activates, or that is how the time is calculated, that this is how the time is moved, this is how the course of time and the course of activities or the karma, everything is in the motion of time. So that is to the sun god. While the sages glorify the sun god with hymns of Sama, Riga and Yajurveda, which reveals the identity of Gandharvas, also sing his praise, and Apsaras dance before the chariot. The Nagas arrange the chariot rope, and Yaksha harness the horse of the chariot, while the powerful Yakshasas push from behind. So in the sun god, when the sun is traveling, he's not alone. That's quite a, all these personalities are with him. And the devotee actually put together a whole the chart of all these personalities. I'll just quickly read through of each month. So there's in 12 months in a year. So each month has got a sage, yaksha, apsara, rakshasa, and naga. They accompany. And for each month, their name is given in the 12th canto. So as per the lunar calendar, the first month is Chaitra. So for that, the sun god is the 12 Adityas. The sun god is known with the name of the 12 Adityas. So the sun god is Dhata. The sage is Pulatsya. And Yaksha is Ratakrit. Gandharva is Tamburu. And Apsara is Kritasthali. Rakshasa is Heti. And Naga is Vasuki. So like that, there's each month, they different, as we were hearing, and actually there was which verse was it? Here, in the text number 18 of this chapter, it says, similarly, the 14 other saints, Gandharvas, Apsaras, Naga, Yakshas, Rakshasa, and demigods, who are divided into groups of 2, assume the different names every month and continuously perform different ritualistic ceremonies to worship the Supreme Lord as the most powerful sun god Suryadeva, who holds many names. So this is actually now further explained by Sutta Goswami in the 12th canto. And there it actually gives the whole name of these different apsaras, sages, Gandharvas, and each month has got a different personalities. If somebody wants I probably wouldn't. Okay, all the sages, on the 12 sages are Pulatsya, Pulaha, Atri, Vasishta, Angira, Vrigu, Jamadagni, Vishwamitra, Kashyapa, Ayur, Gautam, and Bharadwaja. These are the 12 rishis, they accompany each month, in different months. So month are Chaitra, Vaishak, Jyeshta, Ashada, Sravana, Bhadra, Ashwin, Kartik, Margashirsa, Pusha, Magha, and Falgun. These are the 12 lunar months. So these are the rishis, they travel. So it's quite fascinating information. Like we see, okay, big sun globe, but there is a lot going on within the globe, and there's lots happening there. There are 60,000 Balakilya rishis there. There are the sages are also there, Apsaras also there, Yakshas are there, Gandharvas are there, and Nagas, and so on and so forth. It's like, wow. And there's so much, as we see as the sun, it's just, but there is a very big operation going on within the sun god, sun planet also. And we one may wonder, like, how come the sun is so hot? How can these personalities be present in such a heat? But as we hear also in the from the 11th canto, Lord Krishna describes the different siddhis the living entity can have, or mystic perfection. One of the perfection is that they can be in any planet. For any, and they can enter into any planets. Doesn't matter they're heat or cold or different temperature. That's one of the siddhis. So they according with that siddhi, they are able to go and do this specific service within that planet of sun god. It's nothing. So yeah. I was just reading, we hear different apsaras, different pastimes, like, these the 12 apsaras. Apsaras is Krita Sthali, Punjika Sthali, Menaka, Rambha, Pramlocha, Anumlocha, Trilotama, Rambha, Urvasi, Purvachiti, Gritachi, and Senajit. These are the 12 apsaras. They rotate into serving sun god during that. Very fascinating. His whole chart is created for whole 12 months. Each sages, yakshas, Gandharva, who's the Gandharvas, they actually participate. I don't want to read through all that information. Anyway, so this is very technical, very detailed information we find in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. How the creation of is just not what we see. There's a lot more details, a lot more happening within it, and then that's how it operates. Sun God is mentioned as a source of life for the people in earthly planets. Right? How is sun God source of life? Heat. Yes. Imagine the life without sun. If you had to be in a dark all like 24/7 and forever, life will be miserable, right? Sun provides. He comes out every day on time, and to the matter. Actually, the whole astronomy or Jyotish Shastra, it'll give you exactly what time sun is going to come. It's going to come out that time. So there's no light without sun. There's no heat. As Yamuna Leela Mataji was saying yesterday, that if the sun or if the planetary system would to shift a little bit, then it would either freeze, be too cold, or it'll be too hot that will burn. Krishna's creation is such that they are in a perfect orbit, and they are perfect place to remain. They maintain the temperature, maintain the life in the thing. Yeah? How sophisticated it is, the creation, when we actually analyze it. And what is that? How do we sustain? Our sustenance is also grains, right? How does a grain? Will they grow without sunlight? No. Yes, I was trying to grow Tulsi Devi. I'm just struggling to, it's like, oh my God, I'm trying to move it from one window, put it from there to there, and put it in where the sunlight comes. Just try to, so she can grow, right? And so yes, you put without the sunlight, if you put a seed in the ground, any grains, it's not going to grow. So sunlight is source of life. Now, rain is also one of the source, right? How does the rain come? Sun evaporates, transform into a cloud, takes that water into different places where it's required, and pours and rains. When it rains, the grain come out. Right? Again, sun is needed. No sun, no cloud. No sun, no rain. Very logical, right? Yeah. And I just recently did my blood test. Doctor declared, your vitamin D is lowest there, right? So again, and then I asked doctors, where do you get the vitamin? He said, sun god. Go in the sun and sit, and that's the only source. They have some artificial means, but the best source is vitamin D is coming from sun god. Yay. Again, source of life. Yes. Our professor has declared that vitamin D, if no deficiency of vitamin D, you'll have a weak bones and to the point even breakdown. Yes, yeah. It's certified by the scientist. Yes. Yeah. Fire of digestion, where is that coming from? Again, yes, from heat, from sun, from the fire we have, the heat we have is also, that's sun. So sunlight or sun is source of life. Yeah. So wonderful Krishna's creation, yeah? And Krishna's, this is just a little tiny fragment. Our universe is the smallest in the creation. As per Sri Chaitanya, Charitamrita explains, when our four-headed Brahma comes to see Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna asked, so he came to see Lord Krishna, Brahma came to see Lord Krishna, and then at the gate, the doorkeeper stopped him and said, Brahma tells, go and tell her the Lord Brahma has come. And then when the doorkeeper goes to Krishna and said, Krishna asked him, so which Brahma? Right? And then doorkeeper goes back and asks Brahma, which Brahma are you? And he said, I'm four-headed Brahma. So when Lord Brahma goes inside, and then he sees Brahma with 1,000 heads or more heads, many, many heads. So the point is that each universe has got a Brahma. Our universe is four-headed Brahma, which is the smallest. The universe's size is massive, huge. Yeah, and then there's a sun also. So, as I understand, there's one sun in the universe, am I right? Yes? And this sun illuminates the whole universe. Wow. I think it's, as we previously read, that the limit of the sun rays is extended till Dhruva planet. Yeah. Well, okay, I think we'll stop here. Any questions? It was very technical, very different subject matter. I was non-philosophical, very, like yojanas and millions and billions and size and movements and apsaras, gandharvas, and wow. But anyway, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam to be discussed as it is. Any questions, comments? Yes, Prabhu. Can you speak in the mic?
Does Varuna have a bird form?
I didn't find this. The question is, does Varuna Dev has got a bird form or human form? As Aruna Dev, sorry, not Varuna Dev, sorry. Aruna Dev. As for the description, I have seen the paintings or images, even the previously, it has a human form. It doesn't have. The Garuda has got a bird form, Garuda. But the Aruna is no, it doesn't. None of the pictures I've seen or paintings or description that has got a bird form, no, it doesn't say. even though it comes, their progeny, Jatayu and Sampati, have got a bird form. There's another interesting story I heard about the Varuna Dev, actually. This is also again in Ramayana, that the Sugriva and Bali, very interesting story. Huh? The mother of Sugriva and Bali, who were apparently, if you know the characters in Ramayana, there are two monkey brothers. They're very powerful. They assisted Lord Sugriva especially assisted Lord Ramachandra. So their mother happens to be Aruna Dev. Now mother, what happened was this brief story, that there was a lady, and there was the sage by the name, just trying to think, Ugratapas and Narayani. They are the husband and wife. The Ugratapas is a sage that he does yoga, and just as his name says, the Ugra Tapas, he used to performs the tapasya in the very intensely. As a result, his body became very frail, to the point that even to make him travel from one place to another, the wife had to carry. However, the wife, Narayani, was so chaste that she was serving her husband very, very chastefully. So one day she was carrying this sage to different place. It happened so while she was traveling, because she was carrying the sage in the basket on the head in the basket, that feet of that sage has touched another rishi or sage, Matang Rishi. And that actually infuriated Matang Rishi and said, how irresponsible it is that you're not carefully, you're not taking it with the care, that the touching somebody with the feet is considered a not so. So Matang Rishi actually said, your husband will die when sunrise next. Then she, by her power of her chastity, she said, sun will not rise. Sun stopped. And that time, Aruna Dev took an opportunity and said, okay, now let me take a break. I mean, it sounds like our holiday kind of thing, but it is mentioned in Ramayana that he had a desire to go and see the entertainment of Indradev in Amaravati, right? So Arun Dev goes there, and then he was stopped at the gate and says, now you can't go, only females are allowed inside. Except for Indradev. Indra is the king of it. So he assumes the form of a beautiful Apsara and enters into that hall. And by seeing, Indradev gets infatuated, and then as a result of their union, Bali is born. That's why the Bali in Ramayana, the monkey, is Indra's son. And then when he comes back to do his job as a charioteer, and he explains what had happened when he went to... and then Surya Dev also requested him to assume that same form, he wanted to see that form. And then as that union, that Sugriva is born as a Surya Dev's son. So the Bali and Sugriv, they are the son of Indra and Surya. Mother is Varun Dev. I just keep saying Arun. Varun Dev. Arun Dev. Oh, my tongue is twisting today. Yes, Arun Dev. We're talking about Arun Dev. So that's how. Then how did they become monkeys? After they were born, they were given in the care of Gautama Rishi and Ahilya. So they were caring these two sons of Suryadev and Indradev. And and these boys, when they were growing up, they, in a teenage time, they were actually, disturbing the rishis, and Rishi cursed them to become monkeys. Because you behaving like monkeys, you become monkeys. And then when they became monkey, they was given to Riksharaj, who took care of them as sons. So that's how the Balis in Sugriva historical. That's what I read quickly. Very interesting. So Arun Dev is the mother of Bali and Sugriva in the one Kalpa or maybe a Kalpa Ved, different. But Ramayana, it's mentioned in Ramayana. But very interesting. Okay. I think any other questions? Comments? Just a comment. Take a mic, bro. Because there's devotees are hearing online.
In previous slokas, it was mentioned that the movement of sun, it moves such a way that sometimes the day is longer, a day is shorter. So as a result, in summer maybe we have got more sun or more day time and less night. But there are places on earth like in Norway where sun is 24-hour full day for 6 months. The next 6 months night.
Mm-hmm.
So there is it because of the movement of sun or because of earth?
Mm-hmm. I'll just paraphrase the question. So the question is, the sun part of the world, as we see, especially in the Scandinavian countries, like Norway, Sweden, that we see a sun in the summertime will almost like, have you been to those places? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Right, okay. I lived in Sweden for 1 year, and I landed in Sweden in July. It was peak summertime, and then in Europe, right? So the sun was there from 2 o'clock in the morning. This is my personal Pratyaksha Praman. Yeah. 2 o'clock in the morning, sun was up. And then sun was there until 11 o'clock at night. Sun was just traveling from this is going around like this. And how do I sleep? And I had to buy one of those things to sleep. And the winter is all the way around. So 11 o'clock in the morning, you probably see a little sun, and 2 o'clock in the afternoon, sun is gone. And their whole vehicles, they are designed in such a way, as soon as you put your ignition on, the headlight goes in full beam because it's dark 6 months in a year. Yeah. So the question was, how do we explain that? Is that your question, wasn't it? Yeah. I will be struggling to give you full explanation because I don't know in thing. But as mentioned, that the sun travels a 12 zodiac, 12 rasis. There are 12 rasis it travels. So when they are between some specific, now I'll be struggling to give you a name exactly, but when it's traveling, there is a higher speed, and then when some places when it's traveling, it is a slow speed, and some medium, some high, and sometimes longer, sometimes. There's a whole explanation. Actually, I would not be able to give you a specific answer. But yes, that is the movement of the sun. And also, geographically, where it is shining, like in like Asia, you probably may not see much of a difference. If you're in Europe and like Scandinavian countries, you'll see a vast difference of like day and nights are a lot longer and a lot shorter between those two periods. But there must be some explanation. But Specifically, I won't be able to give you exactly from this Rasi to this Rati. That's why I don't have. But yeah.
The sun movement is such a moving.
Yeah.
So it is experiencing 6 months.
Correct. Yes.
6 months no sun because it is like a shadow. So it's dark.
Yes, there's a whole science to it, yes, how it is. Hopefully, we will have some deeper understanding of when the TOBP comes up, and they may have a literature to explaining all this, how the day, nights are formed, how they, the seasons, the eclipse and all that, the movement of the sun, that will be explained according to the Vedic understanding. So hopefully we'll understand we'll have a better understanding, yeah. But my understanding is a bit limited on that, yes. But as I understand, there is the movement of the sun. There are different speeds, different, yeah. As we were hearing, if you're on the top of Mount Sumeru, you probably be on the moon. What is it called? The noon time experience. I mean, the sun is always going around you like this, all the time. There's no day or night because you're on the top of the positioning is such that you're on top of Mount Sumeru, and the sun is just going around you. Yeah.
Both are moving, so there is a possibility of a point.
Correct.
Sun like not always.
Yes. And the whole movement is such a wonder of suns, different planets. They're also moving. They're not stationary, right? So, and movement is such that their movement is creating day, night, seasons, the hot, cold, winter, summer. Like it's such a wonderful creation. Yeah.
Exposure.
Yeah.
Sun, how much exposure where?
Correct. Yeah. That's why whoever created is great. The Creator is great. Yeah. We hear that phrase, and the Creator is great. That's why it's great, because we can see it in front of our eyes. Yeah. It is created in such a wonderful and perfect way that things work. They don't fail. Yeah. Yeah. Sri Radha Vallabh ki, Granthra Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki, Surya Dev ki, Arun Dev ki, Balakilya ki, Jai, Apsara Gandharvas ki, Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai, Gaur Premanande.